Fear Not, Episode 51. Hi, I'm Billy Atwell, and I believe that consistently facing your fears is the only way to realize your truest self and to make those confident choices that will help you to obtain your deepest held hopes and dreams. I have faith that this podcast series will show you that you are not alone, that it will strengthen you and give you courage to face your fears, and that it will help you to permanently cross over into a life of living beyond your fears. Join me on this journey as we listen and learn from others as they share their experiences in facing and overcoming their own fears. Hello, everybody. Today, you and I are going to be joined by Rob Cubbon. Hey, Rob, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Billy. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well myself, thank you. Are you ready to fear not today?
I certainly am.
Rob is an Amazon best-selling author and online instructor. He started his own company, the imaginatively titled Rob Cubbon Limited, in 2006. His company provides design and marketing services to promote products, businesses, and services. He has since pivoted the business to creating ebooks and video courses on multiple subjects, including running a web design business, online promotion, web design, and passive income. Rob's mission is to help and inspire people to build sustainable online businesses, earn passive income, and experience greater freedom and happiness in their lives. Rob, can you take a few moments to fill in the gaps and maybe give us a brief glimpse of your personal life as well?
Yeah, sure, Billy, because I guess that doesn't really tell the whole story. I used to work in London like everyone else. I used to go to work in the underground metro system, uh, commuting maybe for 1.5, 2 hours every day, going to work at jobs I didn't really enjoy. And the reason I did that was because I kind of thought that was what I had to do. It was kind of the way things worked. My dad had a job, my mum had a job, and all my siblings had jobs. So I tried to work hard and do well. But I was never very good at anything at school, and I was never very good at employment either. Um, and life really changed for me. Um, I mean, it actually changed for me firstly in a kind of personal development way. I got into reading about Buddhism and meditation and all sorts of different stuff like that along the sort of spiritual lines. And I started meditating and just started to try and improve myself. And that's all ended up really here. Now I live in Thailand. I'm in Thailand at the moment, which is a really nice place to be. And I run my own business, so I've been doing this for a long time, Billy, like over 10 years now. I haven't had a proper job for 8 years, and I've been traveling for nearly 3 years now. So each step of the way, I've had more freedom, and and things have been improving for me, and had been improving. Just when I go back to starting with the personal development. I hope that fills in the gaps for you. I mean, obviously, the business side of things has changed many times because as I say, I've been pivoting and doing different things, and that's all great. But the basis of the story is really that I've managed to free myself from kind of the life that was mapped out for me in England and mapped out for so many people, which was really unfulfilling. And I'm really glad that I got away from that.
Yeah, that sounds amazing, and thank you for sharing. Ron, would you also share with us one of the biggest fears that you've had to face?
Well, you see, Billy, I certainly can, but it's the funny thing is I don't think I had many fears because the whole point of it was just not to be afraid. You see, if you say to someone who has a wife and kids, I don't have a wife and kids. That's one thing to take into consideration, perhaps. But if you said to somebody who was, I don't know, 40 years old, living in Western Europe or North America with a wife and two kids and a job, and told them, you can just jack in your job and work for yourself online, and everything will be okay. And they won't believe you, and they'd be fearful and possibly with well-founded claims, you know. But the point is that every step of the way, it wasn't I didn't risk anything. I started working on myself, and then started working for myself in my spare time. There was no risk involved, and when I stopped working, it was when I knew I had enough money to survive. There was no risks involved. However, I mean, there were times where I'm frightened, and I'm extremely introverted, and so walking into a room of people, of strangers, is very difficult for me. And I remember being ridiculously fearful of doing just that. And the point is, because the times I was most fearful was going into a room with entrepreneurs and trying to talk to people about starting up a business, because I felt like I didn't belong there. And I remember, I look back on this now and think this is amazing, because I used to be so fearful and not wanting to go, and having butterflies in my stomach before walking into this room. And it wasn't it's something that was particularly frightening, probably to most people. But I look back on that and sort of think now how strange it is, because now I probably do that every day. I probably go into a room full of entrepreneurs every day here in Thailand, and it's just very normal for me. But I remember those first few times where it was really outside my comfort zone, and that, I think, more than anything else, is something that I fear that I've pushed past in that life. I mean, I've had many more fears in my personal life, obviously, but that was the one that came to mind when you answered that question.
So, what did you do to get to the point where you are now, where it doesn't bother you?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just practice, I guess, because I mean, when I went into the first one, it went very well, even though I felt a little bit strange. And then, there've been other situations as well where I felt that. Um, and then I mean, years later, I was giving I give talks in sort of conferences and stuff, and I guess I wouldn't have been able to do that, straight off the bat. But it was through the rehearsal of talking to people, and then finding out that really, that nobody really is that different from you. I mean, they're probably feeling the same fears anyway. I mean, even the guy that talks at the top of his voice and thinks that sounds like he knows everything, he's probably the most fearful guy in the room anyway, because I mean, he may be, making up for it in some way. So I think it was just a case of practice makes perfect. But the point was that it was so useful. Every time I've been to one of these events, which is many, many, many times, has always had a beneficial effect, because I mean, I'm always meeting people that have taught me something in business or in life. I mean, so and meeting people is just one of the best things you can do. And when you stick to your close knit circle of family friends, nothing wrong with that, of course. It maybe cuts you off from a bit of learning. And so I think something that's just really helped me in life, Billy, is going out to various meetup, whatever they are, and walking to a room full of people that I don't know, and then trying to sort of engage some sort of conversation.
Are there resources, books, or anything that help you to deal with fear? Something that you could share with us that we might be able to implement into our own lives?
Well, I haven't got a single resource, but the one thing that's helped me with fear would be meditation, for sure, because meditation takes you. Well, fear is just a thought. It's a thought. It's a thought. Oh my God, this is going to happen. And meditation takes you behind the thoughts. Well, not really behind. Well, that's a loose preposition there, but it's meditation. It encourages you to concentrate on your body somewhere, and most likely the sensation of breath going through your nose, and or something like that, and then you're concentrating on that so intensely, you don't think, because every human being has more or less been thinking for 99% of their waking life, and most of the dream state. We have a brain that's ticking away. I'm sure your listeners are aware of all this. But it seems at first virtually impossible to stop thinking. And even when I'm talking to you now, I'm thinking about what I'm going to say, and you're probably thinking, what on earth is this guy saying? But even if we walk out and we're walking down the street, you're making judgments. That's a nice street sign, or the traffic looks bad today, or something like that. So you know that it's the chattering mind, for me, that causes fear, because there'll be a devil on your shoulder that says, "Oh, you're not good enough to do this. You can't do this. You're not good enough to meet that person. He's better than you. She's too attractive to be attracted to you," and all these thoughts. Everyone has them, I'm convinced. And they lead to depression. I mean, if they're negative, they either lead to anger or depression, and fear. It comes into both of those, and I found through meditation, that I could take my thoughts as I could see them for what they were, i.e., they were just conditioned into me, and they weren't mine at all. I didn't have to give them any credence. I didn't have to take notice of them, and that helps a huge amount with all sorts of things, including getting over fear.
Are you ready for the speed round?
Yeah, sure. Hit me.
What individual, whether fictional or real, has made the most impact on your life?
Oh, it would have to be the historical Buddha.
And if you could instantly change one thing in the world, what's that change going to be?
Um, well, I just say that I'd love to be 10 years younger, and then 20 years, 30 years younger, anything like that. I'm afraid that would be the totally selfish thing I'd say.
What's your biggest weakness?
Um, my biggest weakness is uh, um, lack of belief in myself.
What's your biggest strength?
My biggest strength is ability to get things done.
And if you could only have one book to read, what book would that be?
I suppose it would be The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
And do you have a favorite sound?
Um, well, I play guitar, so am I allowed to have a musical instrument?
Sure.
I'll have acoustic guitar, please.
And Rob, if someone would like to connect with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, it's just my name, really, Rob Cubbon, RobCubbon. So Rob Cubbon, put that into Google, and my website's robcubbon.com. My email's rob@robcubbon.com, and I'm kind of Rob Cubbon all over the place. So quite easy.
And Rob, what parting advice would you like to leave with us today?
My parting advice would be, I mean, I don't want to make it sound easy, or anything like that, but if there's something you want to do, I would very much urge you to do it, and just go for it. And whatever the consequences, It's so much better. You mean make you feel better, even if it doesn't work. It'll make you feel better that you tried it. So much better to try than to always wonder about it. And the antidote to overthinking and overcomplicating everything is action. So I would just go down the path of taking some action that you want to do and that you really sincerely hope and believe in, and that will give you happiness. Just do that thing.
That's well put, and thank you. And I want to thank you so much, too, Rob, for coming on the show and being so generous with your time and your experience. I appreciate it.
It's my pleasure, Billy. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for joining me today. And remember, you cannot achieve everything, but you do have the God-given ability to achieve anything. So stay focused, out of fear, and keep on keeping on. Until next time, be well and peaceful. For more information on today's episode and guest, or for resources that will assist you in overcoming your fears, visit livingbeyondyourfears.com. And don't forget to subscribe to this podcast, where 3 times a week we move to a life beyond our fears.